this will make a lot of people mad. The video topic itself is already kind of controversial, but the person that's actually creating it seems to have a lot of baggage drama that I have no clue about. They've been in situations like this. I don't know. Seems like they hate lolly VTubers, lolly content. There's a lot of quote retweets and people saying this is the fucking worst person possible to be delivering this type of message. But I think it's actually even more interesting when a person that like controversial might be giving good talking points, but people will not even acknowledge it because of the person that's saying it. So again, I want to find out for myself exactly what she's talking about. The rise of infantilized personas. Let's hear it. 10-minute video.
Thank you, chat, for 15,000 subs. I really appreciate it. I never ever thought that I would hit so many subs, so thank you for your support.
Now that's extra Emily, right? This is autism to the max. She embraces the cringe, and if there was an anime that she'd enjoy, I think it'd be Eminence of Shadow. Okay, her entire thing is being cringe, but obviously the baby Goo Goo Gaga voice is the example.
That was really hard to watch. Welcome to another case with Judge Venti.
Sure.
Now this one's not a full content court, but rather a small claims court.
Sure.
I keep seeing this trend where grown adults cosplay as toddlers for attention online. They do these
Extra Emily is so adorable. Even though she's 28, she has a youthful personality. Is she retarded? What a reply, what a response.
Gaga baby voices, and what makes this worse is that she is explicitly doing this baby voice to get men to pay her money.
In this single clip, yes. Does she have a pattern of behavior of being like this though? On stream all the time? I don't think she does. Like, does she spam this move? You know what I mean? Like, how many times has she spammed this technique? I don't really see it much. In fact, the only thing being spammed is her being terrible with cars and driving. I feel like she kind of leans into that and tries to make these controversial scenes where she sucks at fucking driving and puts other people in danger, but haha, it's just content.
For 15,000 subs, I really appreciate it.
What type of guys do you think this content attracts?
Pedophiles! Is what you're gonna say, right? Well, I think the baby voice here being done is an example that's not really a good example to, like, basically you should find a content creator that always does this, right? I feel like Extra Emily doesn't always do this, but for sure, of the people that revolves around this content, there are going to be people with pedophilic tendencies. Absolutely. It just makes sense. Is it an overgeneralization? No, because I'm not saying everyone is like that, but in that group, probably some people kind of sees this like infant aesthetic, whether it be the baby voice or the how they portray themselves, especially with VTuber models too. Yeah, I think that crowd of people definitely are more attracted to this aesthetic. Yes.
She's trying to incentivize men to give her money to do this voice. The caption says, Extra Emily is so adorable. Even though she's 28, she has such a youthful personality. So first off, saying even though she's 28, like...
This sounds like a joke, to be honest. That's not an insult. I feel like this tweet low-key is just a diss in disguise.
That goes to show her audience. Like, they view a woman being 28 as a bad thing, as opposed to the fact that it's a 28-year-old acting like a 12-year-old.
That is an exaggeration, though. What are you talking about? I feel like this video, it's very like bad faith beliefs. This is assuming the absolute worst of her and just saying that she's just attracting all these weird dudes. Like, the statement says even though she's 28. That statement alone is not enough to conclude that, like, oh my god, this person is like, this is like basically from like a Lolita like fandom where they view anything over like the legal age too old, and the 28, no, I don't think 28 is an old age, right? To say that like this is coded from a specific group of people that would just like that are most like that, they're probably, she's trying to say like this is like a pedophile group. No, this is a very reasonable, normal comment. I think you're trying to make way too much out of this statement.
maybe even younger. I feel like calling this a youthful personality is their way to try to make this a normal thing. Like, oh, it's normal to be attracted to youthful personalities. That's one hell of a way to frame it.
It does feel odd though, right? Such a youthful personality, heart. When I first look at it, it's super cringe, but that's because that's from my perspective. Are there other people that just kind of sees the cuteness, the moe appeal in a 28-year-old, you know, pushing 30? Off of one clip, off of somebody I don't know, I feel like we're making a mountain out of a mole.
One hell of a way to frame it. Let's look at the comments. Grown-ass woman, bro, this is sad. Her time is coming. Needs to start a family instead.
I love these comments because these are people that will never actually have a family. Loser incels that have no bitches, no game, hate on women, especially successful women who are like reaching 30 and says, haha, your eggs are up, you know, your ovaries are gonna dry up, when are you gonna start a family? And then you look at their profile picture of who they are, you're not gonna have a family yourself. You just want to have this over women because of their biological clock being different from you in terms of reproduction. It's such a fucking loser mindset.
You think she should raise a daughter? Some people just should not be parents.
Wow, this is... Okay, now I kind of realize the controversy surrounding this person. So, again, I'm entering this with an open mind. I don't know who they are. That's your conclusion. Like, I'm coming in this saying, what a fucked up, you know, statement from loser incels trying to be misogynistic. And then your conclusion is, damn, extra Emily would probably diddle and groom the kid. Off of one clip. Or it's probably a bit, just like a little gag. I don't think there's anything pedophilic happening here. It's super fucking cringe though. Yeah. But to say that she is aware of the pedo baiting and she's trying to get people to donate money off of that, and then to conclude that like, yo, you want this girl to be raising a kid? I wouldn't want her having a child based off her fucking common sense lacking, okay? I'm not hating on extra Emily off of the fact that she's being goo goo gaga. I'm hating on her on the fact that her driving skills and her just social fucking awareness in public settings terrifies me. Anyways, what a fucking take.
15,000 stubs. I really appreciate.
See, she's even acknowledging that it's a milestone. Like, look how many subs I have for doing the baby voice.
Yeah.
Is this what we have to do now? We have to age regress for money? Before we can...
It's definitely a way of getting money, yeah. She's like, again, is she channeling Epstein and like becoming this groomer by being like this? I don't think so. Is there an audience that definitely finds this type of aesthetic and appeal attractive in a really creepy way? Yes. Is that the majority of our audience? No.
Continue the video. I want to talk about the soaps and candles that I helped design at Reed Street Soap.
I don't care. Give me the fucking video instead.
He does a follow-up video addressing the clip, basically blaming Twitter.
Soaps and candles. How woke is this person actually? Speaking of Epstein and Jews, soaps and candles. No, I think I'm making a mountain of a molehill right now. No. I'm getting too schizo with this.
She does a follow-up video addressing the clip, basically blaming Twitter for lame misogyny.
Like the internet as a whole. Okay, I don't mean to. I don't even know. I shouldn't talk.
Get her out of the car, bro. The fact that she's live streaming within the car, that is more dangerous to the children than whatever you think she's doing with the Goo Goo Gaga voice, bro. This is fucking terrifying. Get her out of the fucking car.
About it.
She can't even get a coherent thought out. I guess she has the brain of a toddler too.
What a weird insult to make off of a girl trying to make a public statement, trying to get her thoughts across in a 3-second clip. It is such, like, this behavior is so aggressive and assumes the absolute worst of a fucking person that when the average person watches this, it's so exaggerated. It's just like, what are you talking about? You're reaching.
But I think,
like, there is an angle to be addressing this topic. There absolutely are people, especially in the VTuber space, that utilizes the lolly and moe appeal to pander towards those that you think could be susceptible to pedo baiting. But Extra Emily clips here are really a weak example in trying to portray your points.
Twitter is especially so cruel to women.
Yes, you look at any girl posting of them feeling themselves, it's a bunch of people saying you're a fucking whore, you know, start a family, and then the bunny fucking rabbit with the clock pointing every single time. You think that's not misogyny? If you're gonna hate on her, find some actual funny points, like the whole car thing. You don't see me hating on Extra Emily based on her being a woman. No, I fucking am terrified of her experiences with cars. And it's not even the fact that she's an Asian woman with the stereotypes. No, look at the fucking clips. When she's in the car, it gets scary.
Okay. I just think, like, they just go crazy. I mean, it is bad, like, when they, when...
Her brain cells are working overtime, all two of them.
You know, men fuck up, like, obviously...
I'm sure you stammer too. This is a live improv fucking monologue on the top of the dome. She literally started by saying She's not a public speaker professional. Like, how are you gonna clip this and pause and say, she's a retard, she can't even say a sentence? This is such a dishonest way of showing it that your points are now becoming weaker and weaker.
When...
Her brain cells are working overtime, all two of them.
You know, men fuck up, like, obviously they get hate, but... I mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm a woman, but...
It's a different type of hate that women versus men get for sure.
Like, I see these women getting so much hate for, like, and I'm like, oh my...
She's probably talking about, like, Valkyrie and Pokemon, especially those successful ones that aren't starting families like these incels want them to for whatever reason. Because that's all the insult they have. They can't attack them based on success or fame, so they attack her for her position in life as a woman in their 30s. Right? That's all they have. That's straight up just misogyny. You're not even attacking her based on the fact that Valkyrie is a retard that uses stupid ass fucking talking points to say, oh my god, what about the genocide in Palestine, right? What about it? You're fucking streaming video games right now too. Why don't you go do something, right? This is actual logic presented insults. But when all you do is reduce a woman down to her biological clock because you have nothing else to contest, what else other than misogyny is that?
God, I'm like, is it because they're women, or like, did they fuck up? And I'm like, it's just really scary. Like Twitter just hates women so much. It's wild.
I'm like so random, and like I just don't understand why women are getting hate when they act like children on the internet for male attention. Like, is it just me, or is it that
She's probably not even talking about, in the case that she's talking about, she's probably talking about her colleagues or friends like Valkyrie and Pokemon. They're not, you know, lollybaiting. They're not. So again, what a weird reach. I feel like this person just hates Extra Emily for the success that they have and is just hateful. These are such weak cases to be making off of Extra Emily of all people to say she's lollybaiting.
Everyone else is like crazy. That's what you get. You try to sell yourself as a child, making it this weird sexual thing to fulfill their fetish. And guess what? When you sell yourself as a product like that, that parasocial relationship is going to be all you're worth, and they can easily just turn on you. And the comments are right. When she gets in her 30s and she's doing this, it's only going to get worse, like how it is for Pokimane. You need something else.
Pokemon's not. What a weird thing to tie in together. There's such an insane jump in logic being presented here. Is Extra Emily getting the laugh feed, like basically like some hate right now for like doing the Google Gaga voice on the specific post? Yeah, but when she's talking about like other women in the space, that's not the exact same example she's bringing up. I don't think she's talking about VTubers. I think she's talking about her actual friend. And then even the Pokemon or the other examples you're bringing up, this girl right now, they don't engage in that behavior either. This is such a weird hill to die on.
Else to offer. And doing this is just cheap. Any woman can do that.
I'm like, is it just like a bunch of like...
You know what any other woman can do? Bring down other women. You're just hating on Extra Emily off of points that are extremely weak. If you're gonna at least criticize and insult, you have to be right. This is such an insane mental gymnastics reach.
Crazy, like, women haters on Twitter. So it's very scary. I'm like, it has to be because they just don't like women. And it's...
Some of them. I'm not saying she's completely innocent, right? You can't just say, oh my god, people just hate me because I'm a woman. No, they do exist, but sometimes you fuck up and you're gonna get shit on that too. It's people like to think in absolute. It's not just one thing, it's multiple different things happening.
It's like, ooh. So, yeah. But like the internet as a whole.
She's saying, oh, there's a lot of hate on Twitter for women. I don't think that this is just lay misogyny. In fact, I would argue that it's way more misogynistic to encourage this behavior, to encourage the creepy infantilization of women.
she's not encouraging others to be goo goo gaga. She's speaking about her experiences of her getting hate over the past as well as now, and that her colleagues who do not engage in infantilization. What the fuck is this talking point?
Well, when you look at the caption for this, it literally is like, well, even though she's old and 28 and used up, she still does a baby voice, and that's a good thing. Doing the baby voice is...
They did not say used up. This is what happens when you have a person that has already figured out a goalpost they have in mind and they're walking backwards. There's no honest attempt at actually critically thinking about what's happening in the clips and to rationalize and conclude off of receipts. These are such weird backwards walking talking points, and every time that you hear her talk, it doesn't make sense. You're literally reaching. There is a goal you've already made up. You're biased. All your talking points are now compromised, and the average person watching this, unless they hate Extra Emily, they're not going to actually understand where you're coming from.
just a replacement for actually having talent or skill or something interesting to say. And her whole chat is like agreeing with her, saying, oh yeah, it's the incels.
Well, yeah, because there's a bunch of simps in there, of course. What did you think? It's her community. It's going to be an echo chamber like anyone's fucking videos, right? Just like how your videos, I'm sure a lot of people, the likes and the dislikes and the comments are going to be supporting you. And then as soon as you go online and you see this shit, people are just fucking blasting you out too. That's what it fucking that's how that shit works. What are you talking about?
As if that wouldn't be exactly who she's catering to. Like, look in the chat. It's her own moderator even saying it. And with the amount of people in her chat defending it, it really seems like social media is rewarding age regression instead of maturity.
What a weird fucking example to base this argument of age regression. Why don't you just pick another VTuber that does this shit? Like, here we go, and then we're gonna get a VTuber here soon. So far, none of this makes sense, and it's such a weak way to start a video off. I think she just hates Extra Emily and wants to just drag her down. I've consumed a lot of her content. I don't think she engages in infantilization. I think this is a very weak point. And when she's talking about her experiences with hate and about her other creators experiencing hate too, this has nothing to do with pro-infantilization. And our community and the moderator talking right now are defending the hate of coming from misogyny, from those other things, not the infantilization. To say that they're defending pedophilia is fucking crazy off of this take.
So while she's talking about, oh, it's because of women getting hate, like Twitter's crazy for hating women, you're contributing to that. If you want to talk about the betterment of women, maybe you shouldn't show the standard being having to age regress for subs.
You know what's misogynistic? Putting down another woman because you are radical and you hate their beliefs or what they stand in, and then make up lies and to exaggerate, to gaslight Extra Emily into being like a pedophile, and that our community also is protecting that behavior. What I say, bro? You think men hate women? No, men see women as objects of desire. Women hate women. You will never find a girl that hates like this, basically the vitriol and the significance of a hate coming from one woman to another in cases like this. Oh man, this is a perfect example. Thank you, Patrick's Paradise, for the prime.
Just so we're clear on the context of this clip, it says it went viral from a year ago. She did a uwu clip.
This is from a year ago.
And dared was to do uwu. So she is in fact incentivizing it.
So spin the wheel. It's basically like, hey, spin the wheel, guys, and there's a bunch of different options. If you land the right one, maybe I'll do an ooh voice for donations. It's for fun, right? Like, incentivizing. There are gonna be pedos that do want to see her talk in that way, though. I will agree. But how significant of a demographic is that in our overall community? You can't generalize off of these outliers and then create a narrative that everyone in her community behaves like this when there has been no proven like allegations or even like a pattern of behavior like this. This is one simple, and here's the other thing too. To her, this is probably not even that big of a deal. She probably has no even clue that like this is even catering towards that audience. Only people super fucking woke and like hyper aware of that shit are going to be blaming. So this girl, I think, is super fucking woke. I think there is a goal that she's already made up in her mind. And that's why it's happening like this.
She is incentivizing acting like a child. There are women.
It's kind of like when you see a lolly in anime and there's nothing lewd happening to the lolly. It's just a cute little girl. But the super degenerates that are super coded into consuming that kind of nature of content, will then see that and say, oh my God, and they're projecting, right? How many times do you have like the anti-lollies being actual pedophile? And then they'll project and say, this is so fucking weird. But it's just like, why are you jumping to a conclusion that this is even sexualized from the beginning? I didn't recognize that. No average person would recognize that. It's just a normal, cute little girl, but then because you're so caught up in that woke bullshit, you completely misrepresent what the reality is. That's what it feels to me of this entire segment with Extra Emily. Let's go to the next person. I have no clue who this is. Let's go.
Men acting like toddlers, getting thousands of dollars without even showing their face on Twitch.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Pat the baby, yes. Why don't you start with this instead of Extra Emily? I am gonna be, okay, you're gonna hate me for this, but I do believe YouTubers do this a lot. I think there are outliers where naturally their vocal cords or whatever is different. I think Lily Pichu also got caught up in that, right? I think like Nicholas Lightsbald, Lily Pichu real voice. There's a lot of stuff like this. A lot of people really contest her and like, why do you make all these like ooh goo goo gaga voice? It's weird, right? It's to kind of like appeal to a different demographic. Are they pedophiles? No, but they find that moe shit, that cute shit, they find it appealing. And it definitely happens a lot of VTubers, especially where the rigs and the models are lollies themselves.
Shadow, baby. Yeah. Wow.
I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Even her own fans, or as she calls them, her husbandos, point.
Yeah, when it comes to VTubing, it gets really parasocial and weird. The culture is different. The husbandos will call their waifu a baby, and the baby calls the audience husbandos.
Out that her baby voice is literally the same as her normal voice.
What do you mean not much different? It's way different.
And it's like, how do you prove that she truly does have this voice or not? You can't. It's a benefit of the doubt situation. A lot of people say that she has like really low testosterone and really low whatever biological reasons for having this voice again, right? But you can't make that excuse for every fucking person that has a lolly, or even not even a lolly, but it basically engages in this baby Google voice stuff. I see that happen a lot. To say that like every single one of them aren't engaging in that behavior, clearly trying to farm a specific type of crowd, I think you're being delusional.
No, it's not the same. It's Shadow, baby.
Just so you know, the titles for these videos are things like Shondo crying and does grr like baby.
Yeah.
This one in particular made like 100 grand or something like that over 2 weeks by acting like a literal toddler.
All femboys, they're my husbands. Get your own. Make your own Discord. They're mine, my sexy guys, okay? Is that a boy I smell? It smells so good. Oh, I love boy smells so much.
Stop.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, VTubing is weird in itself, and especially for a creator like Shondo who caters extremely into the parasocial experiences. Absolutely. I think this is a much more stronger case than Extra Emily's, because this is someone intentionally portraying themselves as this way. Now, again, let's for a second just acknowledge this. Does she actually have a biological reason for speaking like this, as in her vocal cords or hormonal issues? Let's just assume that she does have that, okay? I just want to do a little thought experiment. So let's go in and just assume, hypothetically, she naturally has the voice of a baby. Okay. But why do you then behave like a baby? You know? Why do you behave in this way? Because you can't control your pitch of the voice. Okay, sure. But the behavior and the way that you're like coddling towards the aesthetics of these type of people, it's clearly by choice. Because she knows that there is an audience for it, right? So a lot of people say right-wing grifting. I think this is called lolly grifting. You know what I mean? If you look at the comments here, you'll notice it's very Blue Archive coded. And hey, you want to play Blue Archive, you want to go into lollies, you want to take care of them, go ahead. It's all fiction from reality. But don't for a fucking second tell me that this is natural, spontaneous, normal behavior from her. I think it's an extremely calculating behavior as she realizes an audience exists that really enjoys this moe lolly appeal, and she is pushing the boundaries for that. Of course, if you don't think that, I think you're ridiculous. I'm not saying this is a sin, but absolutely the VTubers, the lolly VTubers who engage in this shit, it's not because they're born that way. It's because they're choosing to be that way.
Stop the clip. That is a criminal amount of cringe, a felony in this courtroom. Am I the only one who finds this absolutely insane?
I do find it weird, but again, there's a lot of different communities that you're gonna find insane. There's a lot of lolicons, you look at their group chat, it's gonna be insane. As long as they can differentiate fiction from reality, I think it's fine. But I've been really thinking about this too. And you know how constantly we've been talking about, if you can't differentiate fiction from reality, right? And that like lollies, right? This is not pedophilic content, I think you're ridiculous. Yeah. Differentiate that. It's not real. She's real though, but it's different. So the idea is, this is a 3D model. It's not a real person, but it is clearly a model created specifically to look like this, to appeal to a specific audience. Now you have a... Well, here's the other thing too, but based on that logic, what if there's like a lolly character in an anime? That character is also not real, but the voice actor is real. You have a voice behind this VTuber too. You know what I mean? We're going in circles here. It's creepy. She's pushing the boundaries.
But Shondo, you're a cat. How can Bunny? Wanna see something cool? Have to think really hard.
This is honestly way worse than subscribing to an OF girl. And she's not the only one. I saw this other Twitter account pop up on my feed. Someone quote tweeted it saying there's a whole other world out there. And at first I was like, you know, I'll give the benefit.
What in the Epstein files are we looking at right now?
Doubt. Maybe she's just a petite woman who likes the girly aesthetic. Even with this toy here, maybe it's just that she likes cutesy Hello Kitty-esque things, right? But then as I'm scrolling down her feed, it just progressively gets worse and worse. As I'm scrolling, I'm seeing a bunch of like children's cartoon stuff like MLP, and I was gonna let it slide, but then I came across this. She's literally putting a binky in her mouth that says adorable, and she's dressed like a child.
Yeah, this person absolutely knows what they're doing. This is very calculated ways to appeal to a certain demographic of people that do enjoy this Lolita content. Yes.
And the comments are like, precious, I love you, so cute, kiss, kiss, cutie. No mention of her literally infantilizing herself. Also didn't even bother to censor her armpit.
How dare you not censor your armpit? Armpit is not crazy fan service. However, in this specific context, if you think that this person showing an armpit looking like this isn't calculating, I think you're ridiculous. I think this is very intentional.
Decent. Cutesy is one thing, but this is a whole other thing. And it's not just a one-off thing. As you scroll, there's other stuff like this.
What does this have to do with Shondo? This is not her real account, is it? Like, what is this?
There's a binky picture on top of her wearing a choker, like a dog collar choker with the binky. So it's training people to associate children and child items with sex. Because
yeah. What do you think that collar is? Why do you think she's wearing these type of, you know, like young girl clothing? Do you think this is normal? You think regular baby girls, you know, their regular outfit is collars and chokers and stuff like that? Clearly, they are pandering towards a specific demographic. It is calculated, yeah. Sure, what? So what though? Where are we going with this though?
Who sucks on a binky? Children. As you're scrolling her feed, you just see all this like kitty stuff where it's like, love is like chocolate chip cookies. And then cry baby, literally calling herself a baby. This girl is crazy. And this one has 2 million views and 7.8 thousand likes. Her sucking on a binky. I really don't know how much more blatant. Oh God. And there she is with a baby bottle again in her.
It's weird. That's my first time I've seen shit like that in a bio. Usually I see pronouns and flags in bio. Baby bottle is crazy.
Her bio. What the fuck is this? Look at this. This is literally a toddler. I feel like
Yeah, but that's a lolly anime character, right? It's not a real little girl. Again, if you can't differentiate fiction from reality, you're crazy. But again, who is this person? What are we doing with these Twitter accounts?
Like this account screams that something happened to her as a child. Something just went very wrong. You know, she's a grown woman posting this. I am sentencing extra.
I'm confused about this section. What was the significance of showing this person who clearly enjoys this infantilizing, stuff? How are we tying it to her? Like, if this is her real account, then I'd be like, yeah, that's even more, like, basically details to plot on the dot that, like, this is a very calculating lolly VTuber that is very weird and creepy. I don't know. I think this is, again, you're finding bad faith actors. Again, this is what people do, right? These are very loosely connected things. So let's just finish the video and I'll come up with my conclusion.
I am sentencing.
Yeah, exactly. It is literally just to push a narrative at that final point.
Something just went very wrong. You know, she's a grown woman posting this. I am sentencing Extra Emily to 1 job application. Shondo is guilty of a felony charge of committing cringe on the internet. I sentence you to 1 year of therapy for trying to appeal to men's sexuality by acting like a child on the internet. And I sentence this girl to log off indefinitely and get some adult clothing. The court is adjourned.
Very weak court. A very rigged court in my opinion. Let's talk about this. The whole Extra Emily stuff was a schizo rant. She's making a mountain of a molehill off of an outlier case where the context is her spinning a wheel with multiple selections to see what she's gonna do. Her donors donate money to spin the wheel that incentivizes them to pick an option. Are some of them picking it so that she speaks in a Goo Goo Gaga way? Probably. Is she super into this type of shit? I don't think so. Extra Emily, I think, is caught up in between stray bullets because this Brittany Venti girl hates Extra Emily for all the success that she has and the mainstream appeal that she has. What a weird fucking way to stretch and reach and to have so much illogical fallacies that completely, absolutely assumes the absolute worst of a person with clips and examples that don't even fucking make sense. Again, very weak. Regarding Shondo, I agree with this part though. I think that there are people who clearly have an idea of the target audience in mind. They're intentionally pitching their voices up higher. I don't know. But again, even in an example where the pitch of a voice is something you can't control, they sound like a baby, why do they then lean into this aesthetic? Why do they behave like that? That part, you can still behave like a grown-up fucking adult without having, with having a baby voice, right? So again, that disconnect is fucking crazy to me. But it's actually not. Because in anime culture, moe culture, lolly stuff is heavily part of the core community. It's not about pedophilia, but it's about finding the youth really cute. A lot of people are going to say it's cope and whatever, but VTubing is heavily in that Japanese idol anime niche. And it is a core tenant in that community. And there is an audience that seeks out those values. That's why she's presenting herself in this way. It's that simple. Is her entire community a bunch of pedophiles? You know what? If there is basically a spectrum of likelihood, if I was going to basically power scale the Epstein levels between Shondo and Extra Emily, I think Extra Emily is like a Krillin, right? Extra Emily is like Yamcha. Yeah, there's this one weird clip, but how many times does it happen? It's not even, right? I think Shondo definitely is stronger in that regard. Does that mean everybody is a pedophile in our community? No, but clearly there is a significant portion, right? Her core community is based off of these aesthetics, so of course it's gonna be like that. And for the final one, this is such a weird fucking selection, cherry picking off of schizos. Yeah, these people exist in real life. But in order to portray your logic and argumentation, you can't just pick bad faith actors and try to tie it into Shondo. For example, if Shondo's true account, let's say there's a big nuclear drama of her having an alt account where she is her human self and she dresses like this and posts stuff like this. At that point, I'd say there's a very strong connection and a case to be made that she is definitely appealing to pedophiles with pedophilic tendencies. But come on now. 3 separate things that don't even have any connections to each other to slap on. I think she just hates Extra Emily and she hates lolly VTubers. And at the end of the day, pedophilia bad. Not a fucking hard take at all. But very weird video, and I think that the arguments really fall flat because you're not trying to be honest with it. You've already made up your mind and you're walking backwards. There's no honest truth seeking happening at all, and that's why the argumentation seems so disingenuous. Link to the video. Go check it out. See you next time.